Urgent, straight from the nest. Things are heating up behind the scenes in Philadelphia, and you, the true diehard Eagles fan, need to know everything right now. The 2025 season has already kicked off backstage, and the mission is clear. Bring the Birds back to the Super Bowl with fire in their eyes and full-force determination. Nick Sirianni isn't playing around. Major changes are underway, and the roster is being shaped to soar higher than ever before. Get ready for a flood of updates that will shake the heart of anyone who truly bleeds green. But before diving into these explosive news drops, show some love. Hit that like button if you live and breathe Eagles. And if you're a loyal fan, drop a proud comment. Go Eagles! Let's go, because the game starts now. The Philadelphia Eagles are in full reload mode under Howie Roseman's leadership, and the front office is leaving no stone unturned as they reshape the team following a 2024 campaign that didn't meet expectations. And make no mistake, this offseason has been anything but quiet. First off, the defensive overhaul. It's one of the most aggressive retoolings we've seen in recent years. Vic Fangio is now the man in charge of the defense. That's right. After the experiment with Sean Desai and then Matt Patricia failed to stabilize a crumbling unit, the Eagles pulled the trigger on one of the most respected defensive minds in football. Fangio's arrival signals a return to discipline, structure, and accountability on defense. Let's talk about the changes in the secondary. Gone are names like Kevin Byard, who failed to make a significant impact after being acquired mid-season. In his place, enters C.J. Gardner-Johnson, making a homecoming to Philly after a short stint with Detroit. Gardner-Johnson brings back not only swagger but also versatility, and you can bet fans will remember the fire he played with during the Super Bowl run 2 seasons ago. Also new in the safety room is young talent in the form of rookie Cooper DeJean, drafted in the 2nd round out of Iowa. DeJean is expected to see plenty of snaps as a hybrid player, slot corner, safety, even on the outside if needed. This guy fits Fangio's scheme to perfection. Opposite him, Sidney Brown, though still recovering from a torn ACL, is seen as a key piece moving forward once fully healthy. Staying in the secondary, Darius Slay remains, providing leadership and consistency, while James Bradbury's role is in question after a down year. Many in the building see Khalil Ringo and rookie Quinyon Mitchell, yes, the team's first-round pick out of Toledo, as future starters. Mitchell, in particular, is already making waves with his elite speed and sticky man coverage skills. With Fangio calling the shots, expect a very different look from what we saw last year. Disguised coverages, complex rotations, and smarter situational football. Moving up to the linebacker level, an area that's been a sore spot for years, the Eagles brought in Devin White from Tampa Bay. Now, while White had his ups and downs with the Bucs, the Eagles are betting that a change of scenery in Fangio's system will help unlock the former first-rounder's full potential. Nakobe Dean, unfortunately, has battled injuries and enters a pivotal year. If he can stay healthy, he and White could be a dangerous duo. But don't be surprised if Zach Bond gets real snaps. He's another under-the-radar signing who could end up playing a key role, especially in pass rush situations. Speaking of pass rush, the Eagles still boast one of the league's most fearsome defensive lines. Fletcher Cox retired, a massive loss in leadership and presence, but Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are the future of the interior. Davis, entering year 3, must take that next leap. And Carter, he flashed all-pro potential as a rookie. Milton Williams returns in rotation, and don't overlook Marlon Tuipulotu, who's impressed in limited action. On the edge, Hasten Reddick is gone, traded to the Jets in a surprise move that shocked the fan base. But in his place steps Bryce Huff, another former Jet who brings a relentless motor and solid production. Pair him with Josh Sweat and Nolan Smith, and the Eagles still have a pass rush trio that can cause problems. Smith, in particular, has the coaching staff excited after a quiet rookie year. The word is, he's bulked up and is ready to take on a full-time role. Now let's flip to the offensive side, where the changes are equally significant. Offensive coordinator Brian Johnson is out, and Kellen Moore is in. Moore comes in with a reputation for creativity and getting the most out of his quarterback. That's good news for Jalen Hurts, who is looking to bounce back after an inconsistent 2024 season. The hope is Moore will bring rhythm, spacing, and more variety to the passing game, something that was sorely lacking. And Hurts has no shortage of weapons. A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith are still the top 2 targets, and they're as dangerous as any duo in the NFL. Dallas Goedert remains a key piece at tight end, but keep your eyes on the running back situation. DeAndre Swift is gone, and in comes Saquon Barkley. That's right, Saquon is now wearing midnight green. This was one of the biggest moves of the offseason, and it signals the team's desire to take pressure off Hurts and bring more balance to the offense. Barkley, when healthy, is a game changer. But that's the key, health. If he can stay on the field, he can thrive behind this offensive line. Speaking of the O-line, another huge change, Jason Kelce has retired. It's the end of an era. The future Hall of Famer leaves behind a legacy that will never be matched in Philly. In his place steps Cam Jurgens, who has been groomed for this role. Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, they're all still here, and that's huge for continuity. Tyler Steen is competing at guard, and there's a real sense that the team likes what they're building up front, even post-Kelce. That's just the beginning of everything unfolding in Philly. The Eagles have loaded up on both sides of the ball, and they've made it clear, it's Super Bowl or bust. But we know talent alone doesn't win championships. Chemistry, coaching, and health will play just as big a role. So I want to hear from you. Do you think the return of Vic Fangio and the defensive reinforcements will be enough to fix last year's collapse? Or are there still holes that could hold this team back from reaching its full potential? The biggest storyline surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles heading into the new season isn't just the players, it's the pressure. There's a noticeable intensity coming out of the NovaCare complex. This is not a franchise content with just making the playoffs. After the late season collapse and embarrassing playoff exit last year, the entire building, from ownership to the locker room, feels like it's under a microscope. And no one is feeling that more than head coach Nick Sirianni. Make no mistake, Sirianni's job is not guaranteed beyond this year. Yes, he led the team to a Super Bowl appearance just 2 seasons ago. Yes, his overall record is strong. But the way 2024 ended, with an unraveling defense, a stale offense, and reports of locker room tension, has put him in a position where results need to happen now. The front office backed him by reshaping the coaching staff and bolstering the roster, but if this team stumbles out of the gate, questions will mount quickly. Sirianni needs to show growth. He needs to show he can adapt. And above all, he needs to win. Helping his cause is the addition of Kellen Moore, who brings a fresh offensive perspective that could unlock a new level of Jalen Hurts. Let's talk about Hurts for a moment. There's no doubt he's the face of the franchise. He's got the leadership, the toughness, the work ethic. But after signing that massive extension, expectations soared, and last season, his performance didn't match those expectations. Some of that was on the scheme. Some of it was on the inconsistent play calling. But now, with Moore designing an offense that's expected to be more aggressive downfield, feature Barkley in the run game, and creatively scheme touches for A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith, the spotlight is back on Hurts to deliver. He's got the tools. He's got the weapons. And now he's got a second chance to prove he belongs in that elite quarterback tier consistently, not just in flashes. Now, back to the defense, where Fangio's arrival has reshaped not just the playbook but the culture. Multiple players have already spoken about how detailed and demanding Fangio's practices are. This is a coach who doesn't tolerate mental errors, who emphasizes fundamentals, and who builds defenses that punish you for making mistakes. The players who thrive under him are the ones who prepare relentlessly, communicate constantly, and execute without hesitation. That's why you're seeing an emphasis on versatility. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean can play multiple roles. C.J. Gardner-Johnson thrives when he can roam. Even the linebacker additions, like Devin White and Zach Bond, are athletic enough to be moved around depending on the matchup. It's about flexibility. Fangio doesn't want to be predictable.